Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to NBA 2K19. Was alright. It was alright, I guess. Me personally, I would say this was probably like one of the last good. I would say I wouldn't say good. I was like, this is one of the last okay 2Ks they put out, because everything else after this was ass. Everything else after 2K19 was ass. This was a good bounce back from 2K18, but it's just going to be in the okay category. This wasn't the best, but it was definitely a step in the right direction. And then 20 happened, and then 21, 22, 23. I can't speak for 24, 25, or 26, but I can tell you right now, all of them ass.
NBA 2K19 might be the most overrated NBA 2K. Hear me out. Many remember it fondly, calling it the last great 2K, but was the game itself actually any good, or are we just nostalgic about it? Because 2K20 through 2K26 have been mostly bad. We all know NBA 2K18 was a disaster. To many, it was the worst NBA 2K of all time, an obnoxious mix of frustrating gameplay and over-monetization. So by default, NBA 2K19 was going to be better, since they temporarily laid off on the microtransactions with this one, and improved the gameplay. I actually played this game a lot when it was new, and the 2018 rosters and soundtrack are pretty nostalgic at this point, which makes me feel old, because 2018 does not sound that far away, but that was 7 years ago. Playing it today feels pretty weird. The gameplay is sluggish. I had to turn up gameplay speed from 50 to 65 for it to feel more to my liking, and the game is way too punishing if you don't get a good release on a layup, or if a defender is near you, even though the player should obviously be able to make a shot that close. The gameplay feels frustrating, more so than fun, at least when I'm playing it today. Still, it provides a glimpse into a fascinating point in the NBA. This is the year Kawhi and the Raptors won the finals. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles, Klay Thompson tore his ACL. The Nets were a feel-good story led by D'Angelo Russell. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid looked like the future of the league on the Sixers. And LeBron James had just joined the Lakers. A ton of crazy moves were on the precipice of coming to light. And jumping into my league today,
So we don't bring up the cover athlete in the year he had. We don't bring up the cover athlete in the year he had. Okay, all right, cool. You know, they just it's always a disrespect towards my guy though. They don't never show no love to my guy because he plays for Milwaukee. All right, bro.
it's a lot of fun, mainly to change history at such a critical turning point in league history. My GM was especially good in this game, as it had a complete story and let you bring back the Supersonics while managing relationships with your owners, staff, players, and fans. No other sports game.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. This music you got in the background is super fucking annoying. I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. The music that you got in the background of this video is super fucking annoying, bro. Like, you could have did without this music. What happened to the calm music that you always have in the background? You just had to switch it up for this one, and it's fucking annoying. It's taken away. I'm literally about to cut this video off, bro, because it's fucking music you got in the background.
Hey dog, I hate to be the one to break it to you.
Very bad news.
Get this shit the fuck out of here and get you the fuck out of here.
Bro, just stick with the background music you normally have. It's low, it's a vibe. It's good for the video. This music you got in the background, get this shit the fuck out of here.
Had a mode like this at the time. I don't think the gameplay was that good in this game, however, and it feels much closer to modern 2Ks than, say, 2K15 or 16. And the graphics have that dull, flat, modern look that I hate. But in terms of presentation and depth, this game was easily the best that ever existed in the sports genre at that time. But it's not that 2K was ahead of their time, it's that everyone else was extremely behind. 2K19 wasn't bad, but it wasn't special either. It was alright, I guess. And that's the problem. We've been down so bad for so many years. We're now looking back on all right games like they're masterpieces. This was no NBA 2K16. This was NBA 2K19.
No, it wasn't no 2K14. 2K16 wasn't good. I keep telling y'all, bro, y'all wasn't there. So I think a lot of y'all wasn't there when the game first came out. Y'all don't remember the day one of the first week of 2K16. That shit was terrible. You couldn't even get into the servers. You'd be blessed if you could get into the servers on the first week, bro. It didn't get better to like the third or fourth week. The third or fourth week was when they finally stabilized the servers. Like, you knew a bunch of people was gonna be playing this day one. How you don't have the servers stabilized? But this $1 billion corporation, but they can't get their servers together. That's the ridiculous part. Not only the servers, they had to make so many changes to the way how the park was set up, because the park was set up in a certain way. I remember it, like, for shooters, if you got hot, your greens would just be automatic and you would make more greens, and then they took that out. So they went against something that they put in because it was too overpowered, or the way how the game was set up, it couldn't handle it. So it was just giving everybody automatic greens and shit. Y'all weren't there for the first half of that. You was getting double teamed automatically in my career. You would automatically get double teamed as soon as you made like 4 or 6 points, you was automatically getting double teamed the whole game. Then it went from getting automatically double teamed the whole game to the fucking defense being so fucking overpowered to the point where they automatically knew what you was gonna do before you even did it. Then you be trying to run plays, trying to be realistic and try to run plays. The plays don't even fucking happen half the time because they're already broken up by the defense because it already knew. Then you was getting blocked by people like Kyle Korver and shit. Players like Kyle Korver and Steph Curry could block your shots. They could steal the ball from you. It's like, bro, what the fuck is this? It was just a terrible experience. It was just a terrible experience in the beginning, bro. But through the patches, they fixed it. Y'all have to stop. Y'all gotta do the knowledge, B. Y'all gotta do the knowledge, B. I'm just saying. Sometimes you niggas gotta do the knowledge, B. Y'all don't be doing the knowledge. Y'all just be out here saying shit and don't even really, and y'all wasn't really out here like that. You know what I'm saying? I was out here. Y'all gotta do the knowledge, B. Dead ass, son.
Do the knowledge, nigga. Okay.
I'm just saying, do the knowledge. I was there. I know what this shit was. I paid $88 for the Michael Jordan edition of 2K16. That shit was not A1, bro. 2K14 is where it's at, my nigga. And I said what the fuck I said. Do the knowledge, my nigga.
Do the knowledge, nigga. Okay.
Gameplay was actually awful at launch. You see, this all started with NBA 2K17. The games became more online focused than ever before, yet 2K botched the servers that year, resulting in a game people reminisce about, but 2K17 is pretty overrated. It was the beginning of 2K's downfall. 2K18 was even worse, as gameplay regressed, servers were still trash, and microtransactions in VC became worse than ever. 2K19 toned back the microtransactions, mostly because NBA Live 18 and 19 existed as less predatory competition.
No, that wasn't even their competition. Their competition was Fortnite. I remember they put a survey out for people that wasn't playing 2K anymore. I had stopped playing 2K the moment I moved into my apartment. I swear to God, the first time I hopped on 2K, the first time I moved into my apartment, I think I stopped playing 2K around the time I had to leave YouTube. By the time I left YouTube, I just stopped playing 2K. I didn't care for it anymore. So then I popped it in and I played it for the first time, right? I get a fucking pop-up that says, hey, do you mind taking the survey real quick? The survey on 2K18 literally said, why are you not playing NBA 2K? Is it because of NBA Live? Is it because of Fortnite? Is it because of Call of Duty? Or is it another game? They were literally asking us why we weren't playing NBA 2K. This was the first year people walked away from this game and they didn't know what to do. So they were just asking cancers. They was scrambling. So it wasn't just NBA Live. It was Fortnite. It was Call of Duty. It was all type of shit. People were expanding their horizons because of 2K18. How bad 2K18 was. They started expanding their horizons and they just switched up and people started going into another direction and shit. It was having fun with other games. And 2K didn't know what to do because this was the first time. YouTubers weren't fucking with the game. Casuals weren't fucking with the game. People just walked off on this game and they didn't know what to do. So they started putting out surveys. It was sad. It was a sad day. You hate to see it, but it was necessary at the time. The fact that we didn't follow up on that we should have followed up on that, bro. We should have made it 10 times worse for them going forward, bro. But no, you niggas just keep buying this fucking game with your hard-headed ass.
But gameplay was still trending in the wrong direction. Online, there was a pushing animation that became extremely cheesy, and only after it was patched was this game considered playable. The core gameplay is alright, but I don't find it fun personally. Close shots and layups miss just because a defender is standing near you, unless you get a lucky animation. Players' feet slide around, dribbling was fun, but the gameplay was very sluggish and frankly boring. You could make shots without greening, it was forgiving, but personally going back, this game plays much worse than I remember. I had some old friends pull up recently and we played a little 2K26, did not like it, and by the way, that game has gotten worse with updates since I last reviewed it, which is pretty frustrating. And we popped a 2K15 disc into my PS5 and actually had a blast playing that on Blacktop. So going from 2K15 to 2K19 almost feels like going from 15 to 26. 19 has that animation-based sluggish lack of control that seems to plague more modern 2Ks. This game is closer to the worst 2Ks than the best ones. At least transition defense was solid, unlike in the awful, yes awful, NBA 2K20. Another heavily overrated title, at least in my opinion. The AI defense in this game is actually really good though. If you're looking for a challenging, defensive-based 2K, this might be up your alley, but I prefer a more offensive meta. The defenders will stick on you, and you actually need to set picks and run plays to find success on higher difficulties. But the close shots are so annoying. You can be 7 feet tall, 1 foot from the basket, and miss because a guard is near you. It makes no sense, and it feels like 2K tried to balance this game more towards an online meta, rather than towards being a genuine NBA sim. And this is a trend that has continued to this day. Now, my thoughts on gameplay probably seem negative, but the rest of this game is actually quite good. That's what makes this game difficult to grade, because you can find enjoyment here for sure. My career sadly no longer works. You can create a build and play through games, but the story was tied to the servers which are now shut down, so you can't experience it ever again, which sucks.
I'm not gonna lie to the story for this one, I ain't gonna lie, they actually did a good job with this. I remember it. Your character name was AI. You came up through the D League. You was playing for a team out in China. You was playing in the Chinese league. You was playing against then the NBA players came. You played against them. You balled out. You had the option to dunk on a nigga. You dunked on that nigga. You got your shine. You got your 15 minutes of fame off his bitch ass, and that got you scouted and by the Indiana G League team, I want to say. Then they take you from you go through that, you go through the fucking trials and tribulations of the G League. You get I think you do some stupid shit with some fireworks and that gets you fucking that gets you damn near kicked off the team. I think you get kicked. No, you actually do get kicked off the team. And you get kicked off the team. But then, miraculously, the fucking Los Angeles Lakers of all team calls you up, calls you and says, hey, we want to play in the final game of the season. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going to the playoffs. Our team is ass. You want to play for us for the final game of the season? And you're like, yeah, sure. I'll gladly play for your team, Bucko. and you play for the Los Angeles Lakers, you got to have a good game, and then that leads you into your NBA season. Yeah, you already know how it goes. If you play the game, you already know.
It was solid back in the day. This was the one where they called you AI instead of MP. I remember you joined a fictional college and worked your way to the NBA.
It was a good my career though.
Is also unavailable, but I remember having a good time with it after they patched pushing. My Team is also shut down, but it was beloved back then. If you were mostly a My Team guy, this was probably one of your favorite 2Ks. It was fair, easy to unlock players, good odds on packs, triple threat was fun, and you didn't have lineup restrictions, so you could put Shaq at point guard and do cheesy fun stuff like that. I didn't actually play My Team back then, so everything I just said.
Actually, that's what forced them to do what they did in 2K20 though. If we being honest, that's what forced them to do what they did in 2K20 was to like get to set up positions, because everybody was cheesing with I think it was everybody was cheesing with Giannis that year. It was a out of position Giannis, and you could put Giannis at. People was putting Giannis at the point, it was doing all type of cheesy shit. And I think that's what forced him to put positions in the game.
Came from Blackie Was Here on Twitter, so shout out to him. My GM was really the highlight of this game to me. And if you play it today, this is really the main point in playing 2K19 in 2025. Remember Tex Towers? This mode has a whole story behind it, and it feels like a genuine RPG. You move an existing NBA team to Seattle. I picked the Thunder, of course. Cutscenes take you from fishing on a lake to sitting in a private jet. You get to work out and scout the rookie class, which included guys like Luka, Trae Young, Mikal Bridges, Jaren Jackson, and more. And the mode is really in depth and a fun way to experience 2K's franchise mode with more of a narrative to it. It does have a lot of text and reading and no voice acting, so only play this if you don't mind immersing yourself into the lore of the story. My League was the game's dynasty or franchise mode, and for its time, it was incredible. I remember being blown away going from Madden 19 to 2K19 to the point where I made this channel. This mode has every feature you'd want, and today's My NBA is basically the same outside of eras and a few minor additions. The CPU decision-making logic is basically unchanged, which is hilarious. But this was and still is a very deep and immersive franchise mode experience. And it's fully functional today despite the lack of online servers. Also, Ben Simmons has trade value. Sure, I'll flip him for Jaylen Brown in a first, easy money. 2K19's My League still has more depth than any franchise mode EA Sports has ever made 7 years later. Blacktop mode was pretty bland, but at least you could tell who was on whose team, unlike the mess they have today. This was a very deep game for its time, and it's unfortunate 2K has so much of the game tied to online servers. They shut their servers down for new games after only 2 years, so keep that in mind. When you buy a new NBA 2K, you're basically renting half the game. Presentation in 2K19 was also incredible for its time, although that may just be because EA was so far behind. Every game has a long pregame show that shows while it loads and continues if you want. Between quarters, it'll show you player interviews. The scoreboard is actually normal, unlike the newer 2Ks. The buzzer would play out of your controller. The crowd would get on their feet in tight moments. Mascots would perform at breaks. It really had it all. We take this stuff for granted today because it's existed for so long in NBA 2K, but when you compare 2K19 to NBA Live 19 or any other sports game, they were so far ahead of the competition, which is probably more sad than anything worth praising if I'm being honest. The game was in 4K on the PS4 Pro back then, and the graphics are sharp and detailed, but flat, dull, and lifeless, just like modern NBA 2K. Players looked a little too big on the court, which to be fair, they have fixed this in future titles, and the animations just aren't as clean as they are today. Feet would slide, and segments between animations would look pretty awkward. The soundtrack though, man was it fun. You had the UNK anthem, you had a ton of Travis Scott, a nice variety of music. It really takes you back to 2018. My favorite part of this game though, is really just the rosters and the era the NBA was in. DeMarcus Cousins was a 90 overall on the Warriors, which is crazy looking back. Jokic and the Nuggets were on the rise. Jamal Murray looks like a baby. MPJ was a rookie. Harden was still a Rocket and was teammates with Chris Paul and Melo. Drummond looked like a star. Dirk was still on the Mavs with a rookie Luka. Giannis was entering his prime. It was just a fantastic era for basketball. That's a lot of fun to revisit. NBA 2K19 was not a bad game, but its gameplay was pretty annoying, stumbled out of the gate, and with half the game shut down today, it's really not worth picking up now, unless you want to mess around with the rosters in my league or play through my GM. I'm not really a fan of the gameplay, but for its time, this was a pretty good sports game compared to everything else on the market, but that says more about the market than 2K19. This game comes from an era when sports games had definitively fallen off, and this is the exact era that caused me to start this channel. Things have somehow gotten worse. I don't get it. But if you played a lot of My Team or Park post-patch, I can totally understand remembering this game fondly, because I'm just playing the CPU here. Some may prefer the sticky defensive AI and the challenging gameplay over later titles where you could just rain jump shots, and the depth is certainly there in the offline modes. I liked this game more when it was new. I don't hate it, but this isn't something I see myself playing after I finish this video, where NBA 2K15 is something I've been having a blast with recently. I still think NBA 2K16 is the last great 2K, and with recent updates to 2K26, perhaps it's time I finally finish that sad decline of NBA 2K video I had planned. Anyways, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, when you finishing that, bro? Ain't nobody here for no fucking NASCAR, bro. Fuck that shit, bro. Get that 2K up out. Get that 2K video out here, dog. Got to feed the streets, man. Got to feed the streets. Soft Drink TV. Got to feed the streets, brother. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I'll see y'all in the next video, most definitely. I think 2K19 was okay. I do honestly, I do agree with him. I do feel like we just coping because what we get today is garbage compared to what we got back then. So we are kind of coping, but I did thoroughly enjoy 2K19. I did enjoy it. Playing as a big man, I enjoyed it. The defense, everything was good about that. Felt like I was playing a 2K that actually focused on or put an emphasis on defense, because 2K20, boy, they ruined everything about being a big man in that game. I hate to admit it, but that they ruined everything about being a big man in that game. It was like you either had to be a point guard or a shooting guard. Those are your only two options for 2K20 that year. But yeah, that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, deuces.